Well, we are entering April this week and want to bring you the latest data here in the Austin metro area. Are we starting to see a wealth gap in terms of who is having success in this market and who is not? A lot of that has to do with price point. And I want to show you in the data today that depending on where you look, some areas are in a seller's market and some are still in a buyer's market. And we want to show you it all comes down to price point. So let me point that out. We're going to start with the high level data. So this is everything blended together in the metro area, which covers 5 counties. So this is number of home sales. We are the green line in 2025. Here's January and February. And so right now, the number of sales is still trending lower than we've seen the last several years. In fact, the last 5 years. Sales volume, again, a little bit lower. Sales volume is just the total amount of price if you blend it together. Median sales price, again, a little lower than the last 2 years, but catching up. We had kind of a slow start to the year with weather. I think we might see that get back in line with the last couple years. We'll see as we get into March and April. Average sales price is higher than the last 2 years. So again, what would bring the average up? Well, the median house is just the middle house. That's what it is selling for. But the average is when you blend all the sales together, what would make the average go up? Well, higher than median priced homes. So if higher priced homes, which get more, they get more credit when you do an average, that's what's pulling the average sales price up in the market is the upper middle class stuff is where I think we're seeing that trend the best right now. And I'll show you that. We'll break that down into some data in a minute. Total listings, this is how many are for sale. This is great for buyers. This is the challenge for sellers. You have more competition than we've had in a long time. We continue to see inventory rise in the market. And months of inventory is just if you calculated how fast would that absorb. If you didn't have any new listings, it would take at least about 4 months for everything to sell through in the market. All right, we're going to go to Williamson County. These are the northern suburbs. And so again, number of home sales kind of neck and neck with where we were at the beginning of 2021 when we had a lot less inventory. So sales are still a little anemic there. Sales volume, again, total price below the last 3 years. Median sales price, okay, it's hanging in there with the last 2 years, really very neck and neck with the last 2 years. So the price is what's starting to stabilize. The number of listings and the number of sales, that is what has not yet stabilized in the market. Average sales price, again, in Williamson County, a little bit below. So they're not seeing as much on that high-end sale. And total listings, we're seeing that climb. Same with months of inventory here. All right, let's talk about Travis County. So what is Travis County? This is Austin, and this is the wealthier suburbs to the west. You're looking at Lakeway, Bee Cave, some of those areas. You're also looking at kind of the more affordable eastern suburbs like Manor and Del Valley, areas like that. So number of home sales, again, lower. So number of sales, lower. Sales volume, pretty anemic as well, lower. But in Travis County, the median sales price is above the last 2 years. We're seeing that go up. What pulls that up? Typically, when the above average homes are selling on price, average sales price up. In fact, we're higher than 2022. Let that sink in. So in Travis County, the price is going up. People are coming back to the city. And if you have money, they're spending money on the nicer homes. So that's what we're seeing on average sales price. Total listings still higher. So again, inventory is higher, sales are down. What's being bought right now? The higher priced properties in, I'll call it the upper middle class zone. And again, months of inventory going higher. All right, we're going to go to Hays County because we're going to see the data a little different. Hays County is typically more affordable. You have cities like Kyle, Buda, and San Marcos. You do have a wealthier area, which would be Dripping Springs, which is kind of that upper middle class target. I think that area is selling pretty well. But when we blend it all together, Hays County is seeing sales down pretty neck and neck with the last couple years, but still lower sales volume dropping in Hays County. So we're seeing that go down. Median sales price below the last 2 years and below it by 20 or 30K. So again, we're seeing the prices soften a lot in Hays County. When we look at the average sales price, remember Travis County going above. Right here, it is well below. So what's happening is the people with the money are coming out of Hays County and they're coming back to Travis County. I'm not saying that's exactly what's driving the numbers, but just know, hey, if you've got more money, you might be coming back to the city and getting that median priced property. Total listings in Hays County, higher. And we've seen this in every county that we look at. And of course, months of inventory. All right, so let's talk about this in a little more detail. How much money do you need to make a comfortable living in Austin? And again, going back to that wealth gap question. Well, this was a study done by Smart Asset that just came out. And again, take it with a grain of salt. But their argument is if you're a single person, to make a comfortable living, you need to make $101,000 a year. And they're breaking that out that about 50% of your costs are those fixed monthly costs, your rent or your mortgage, those types of expenses, your fixed, utilities, things like that. 30% of it is your discretionary spending and 20% is savings. So they're assuming you're a good saver. And of course, Smart Asset is about investing and saving. So anyways, 101,000 as a single person or 233,000 as a married couple. Well, yeah, if you've got really good salaries, you're going to have a nice, comfortable living and you can get out there and bid on those middle to upper middle class homes in Austin. So this article is saying, hey, you need to have some substantial income to be able to make that living and buy these homes. But the median income in Austin in 2023 was only 74,000, which is still not bad, especially when you look at other cities. Austin typically is much higher. I've seen other studies that say it's closer to 95,000, but still, not there, not up at that upper middle class level. Those are the homes I think right now, if you're just selling at the regular price points, are having more trouble. All right, I want to break this down by some different areas. So we're going to start with, this is a zip code. I want to show you why it's different depending on where you hunt or where you're selling your house. This zip code is 78739. This is Southwest Austin. This zip code has neighborhoods like Circle C Ranch, Meridian, Avania. It's probably 25 minutes to downtown, depending on how you drive. But its average list price is $995, just below $1 million. It only has 1.6 months of inventory, and they're selling in about 18 days. So it's tight. This is a seller's market. So down there, you're seeing product move. If I move up to another, I'll call it middle to upper middle class neighborhood, this is West Round Rock. This has neighborhoods like Davis Springs and Avery Ranch, parts of Brushy Creek, which is really popular. They have about 3 months of supply. The single family average home is about 685 and days on market about 25 days. So again, on average, selling in less than a month and still a seller's market. We're going to move here to Hutto. So now we're in northeast Williamson County. This is east of Round Rock. The price point's lower. This average list price about $436. Months of inventory is not terrible. It's about 3.25 months of inventory, but now it's taking a little longer. Now it's about 45 days on the market. So we're seeing it as the price point actually got lower, the market's getting a little slower. There's more inventory. This is where we're really seeing it, Kyle. So Kyle and Buda, Kyle's got about 5.6 months of inventory, and it's taking about 2 months to sell. Their price point's about $430. So again, even though the price point's half of what we saw in those nicer areas, there's a lot more inventory, and it's harder to sell in those areas. Here's Buda, which is just north of Kyle. These are both in Hays County. Their price point's a little higher, $468. And again, they're getting real close to 6 months of inventory. Days on market's not too bad, about 39 days. But again, we're seeing that one get slow. And then on the very upper end of the market, this is Westlake. This is 78746 zip code. Obviously, this is some of the nicest property in our market. It's a very wealthy area. It has its own school district. But, their median, or I shouldn't say, the average list price home is $3.7 million. Okay, so of course, the super high end might be a little slower there too. They have like 9.5 months of inventory. Lots of luxury supply in the market. So what is moving the fastest? It's not the low end of the market, because those are more likely attracting first-time homebuyers. Those are attracting people that maybe don't have a lot of savings. And most importantly, some of those homes, if they're older, they also need remodeling. That's why they're less expensive. Well, people don't have the budgets to want to do that. That product is harder to sell right now. If it's an upper middle class home, we're talking, I'm really seeing it kind of in that 700,000 to maybe like mid ones, 1.5 million. Those, if they're in good shape, they're in the good school districts, they're nice neighborhoods, those typically always sell well, but we're really seeing those move really well. Those right now are still a bit of a seller's market. And then, of course, when we get back into luxury, Austin has a lot of luxury. And so it just kind of flooded the market there. And we're seeing that start to catch up. All right. This is getting back to real time data. This is the number of active versus sold listings in the market. I show this to you every week, but it's just to give you the idea. We're seeing those spring listings add up on the market. And as I mentioned last week, the March sales are now above February. As they get recorded in the MLS, we're seeing the sales come up. So now we just want to see over the next couple months how that is trending, if we're seeing more buyer activity. And then here's our historic sales price trend. And again, there's our COVID peak. We're still seeing kind of the slow downward pull on the median home price. But this year, I still predict could be the year we kind of balance out, maybe not on the number of sales, but just starting to balance out. Finally, let's talk about interest rates. Again, good news. Rates have stayed here for over a month. I think that's providing a little bit of certainty to the market. Hang on, I'm going to scroll down. There we go. All right, this is the chart from the beginning of the year. We were at or above 7% all the way until the end of February. Again, why were sales lower? I mean, rates were above 7. It just wasn't an attractive time to buy. Now that we've gotten into March and now tipping into April, well, we've pretty much been hovering around the 6.75 range for a month, and it hasn't gone back up. And that's provided some certainty to buyers right when we're hitting the spring market. So that is a good sign. Anyways, if you are a seller right now, you saw all the data, obviously lots of inventory, and a lot of it's going to depend on your price point. If you are in that, let's call it 600s and below, I think you really need to understand it could be a little slower in that market. We need to make sure that house is tip-top shape and really pay attention to the competition in the market. Obviously, if you are in the trendier areas that I talked about in that upper middle class middle, that 700 to 1.5 million, it still comes down to price, but I think you have a better opportunity if the home is in great shape. And of course, on that luxury end, just know it could be, a lot of inventory there as well. If you are a buyer, rates are starting to become a little more predictable. They're less volatile than I've seen in a while. That's a good sign. And of course, you have more to look at than you've had in a long time. So spring market is heating up. We are definitely seeing multiple offers on some of that good product out there. Anyways, if you want to follow our videos each and every week, make sure to click that subscribe button and you'll get them on YouTube. And of course, if you know somebody looking to buy, sell, invest, or want to finance here in the Austin market, make sure to give us a ring. Anyways, I'm looking forward to April. Hope you are too. And we'll talk to you next week.